At an altitude of over 5,000 meters, the very breath of man mingles with the freezing mist. I have lived in this sacred isolation long enough to know that the Himalayas never truly sleep. This mountain range is a deity, both remarkably generous and ruthlessly unforgiving to those who dwell here. Every stone here tells a story of survival against the most extreme conditions on our planet. One morning, after a catastrophic avalanche shook the very foundations of the earth, the silence felt different. The roar of the falling ice had ceased, leaving behind a chilling stillness that echoed through the valleys. I stepped out into the biting air, sensing a fading spark of life nearby, a cry for help. Somewhere beneath this frozen shroud, a king had fallen from his high and lonely throne. The mountain had claimed its toll, yet I felt a pulse beating weakly against the cold. There, half buried in the ice, lay the ghost of the mountain, a magnificent snow leopard. His breathing was shallow, a rhythmic struggle against the encroaching shadow of a final permanent sleep. In those clouded eyes I saw no longer a predator, but a soul pleading for one more dawn. I knew the odds were against us, but compassion knows no logic in the face of death. Every muscle in my aged body screamed as I prepared to drag the king to safety. The journey back was a battle of inches against the gravity and the biting, relentless cold. I was but a speck in this vast wilderness, carrying the weight of a dying legend. As the sun dipped below the peaks, the golden light offered a final glimmer of hope for us. I brought him into the warmth, leaving the cruel winter to howl outside our wooden walls. The hearth fire became our sun, the only source of life in this frozen corner of the world. I prepared a poultice of ancient roots, secrets of healing passed down through generations. Every touch was a prayer, an unspoken promise that he was no longer alone in his suffering. Slowly, the tension left his powerful frame, replaced by the deep, healing sleep of the weary. On the 10th day, he accepted nourishment from my hand, a significant victory in our quiet war. His gaze followed me, no longer clouded by pain, but sharp with the intelligence of a hunter. In the silence, we found a common language that required no words, only presence. The ancient mantras resonated through the room, a bridge between two very different worlds. The longest winter of my life was finally giving way to the first whispers of spring. When the first rhododendrons began to bud, the mountains started to shed their white winter coats. He rose with a newfound dignity, the king reclaiming his stature after a long forced rest. His first steps into the sunlight were a victory march, a return to the world of the living. Strength had returned to his limbs, the coiled power of a master hunter ready to be unleashed. The call of the wild was growing louder, an irresistible pull that no human kindness could hold back. We stood at the gateway to his kingdom, the air thin and pure, the sky an infinite blue. In that final look, there was a gratitude that went deeper than any human language could reach. Then, with a sudden surge of power, he was gone, disappearing into the mist of the high ridges. The mountains had their king back, and I was once again the solitary monk of the snows. Join Green Earth Odyssey. Subscribe and share to help us protect the wild beauty of our home. Together we are nature's voice.